A couple of months ago on the channel, I said this. But one thing I will probably never do in that series is play against a Grandmaster. Why? Because they're just way too good at chess and it would be a very short episode where I lose in about 15 moves. So it might be a surprise to you that on this episode of The Difference, we have 2,600 FIDE rated Grandmaster Arthur's Neiksans. In this series, I use myself as a baseline and challenge creators in all different ELO bands. Throughout the video, the perspective will change between both players so the audience can gain an insight as to how each player thinks, calculates, and plans during the game. Then we will collaboratively analyze the game, which, by the way, the analysis in this episode is absolutely ridiculous, and hopefully by the end of the video you'll have a better understanding of the difference between 1800 and 2600 FIDE. A huge thank you to Arthurs for coming on the channel, but apart from that, let's jump straight into the game.
Amazing. Oh my god, and I'm black. Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. We are playing against Grandmaster Arthur's Neiksans in today's episode of The Difference, and I have a much higher rating than him, which is amazing, so clearly that means I'm better. I have not prepped him at all for this video, so this is just going to be me absolutely freestyling it. Let's play d5, which is what I normally play against knight f3.
He's already not sure how to respond with d5, okay. Oh, that's one of the most popular moves. I'm gonna play the standard stuff. Bishop g2, show castle, let's see what happens.
They've played g3. I'm going to play c5. I need to play this game a little bit differently to how I would normally play because I am versing a Grandmaster. Arthurs has a rating of over 2,500 FIDE. So ignore this Lichess rating. He is certainly a very good player. Let's play knight c6.
Yeah, c5 is a playable move. This is how many players like to play. They like to play knight c6, grab the center with e5. I think I'm gonna stop him and play d4 at the right moment, so we get some sort of a reversed Grunfeld defense, where I have an extra tempo, so you see he wants to play e5. Well, I'm gonna stop him. I think I can actually also play a shut castle. Black plays e5, and according to an engine, he's slightly better, but some people do like those kings in the defense positions, but I just know that this is the top choice of engine, and this is also what I'm recommending in my course.
And he's going for d4. Which is what Croissant didn't go for. He went for a King's Indian attack, so we're already in new territory. The problem with takes is that you go takes, e5, takes, c4, and it's really, really difficult. It's really sharp. So maybe I'll just play something boring. Against a Grandmaster, I feel like you should probably play the more safe option of like an e6, shutting down his diagonal forever. Not forever, but, you know, not opening up possibilities for him to play c4 later on. Like if we just play e6 and then he plays c4, then we can take, and maybe we go takes, and like takes or something. I don't know, but I feel like e6 is the right move to make in this circumstance.
All right, e6, it's fine. Yeah, this is a good move. There's a nuance, by the way. I could play c4, threaten to play c takes on d5, d takes on c5, and create a Tarosh position. But after c4, d takes, queen a4, c takes on d4, now d4, queen d4, bishop takes on c6, bishop d7. I'm missing out this typical resource rook d1. So that's why I have to play short castle.
I don't really play. I think this might be the first Grandmaster I've ever played in Rapid. I've got a secret weapon though in this game. I recorded a classical game of chess with I Want Checkmate, which I think will not be out on the channel yet. But he revealed to me that during the game, he had a brownie break. So he left the recording to go and get some brownies and came back and ate them. So I did the same thing. I've got some brownies here. It's my secret weapon. It's actually a protein brownie, so it's even better. But that's my secret weapon to winning today. Arthurs has castled. I'm going to play knight f6.
Okay, he plays knight f6. I think I have to play c4. I don't think I have any other real opportunities here to explore.
c4. So when c4 comes in any structure, when it makes like this pawn cube, usually you like to go c takes d4. That's just like rule of thumb, usually how it goes. So c takes d, let's calculate it a little bit. C takes d, knight takes, and then what? Then we can play knight takes, queen takes, and we could possibly take, but then he just takes with the queen, and I don't really see a great follow-up, and he's just got a great bishop. What if we play bishop e7? Well, then he could take, and I would take with my knight, and then he could play f4, and then I could go back. I think bishop e7, again, it's one of those moves that I wouldn't normally play it, but because we're playing against a grandmaster, it does feel like the right option. If bishop e7, if he takes again, this is probably fine. If he takes, then I can take with the queen because it offers a queen trade immediately. So let's play bishop e7.
Okay, so in these circumstances, we're not going to be able to out-prep a literal GM, but what would have been super useful in this position is to just understand the opening a little bit better. I haven't gotten around to properly studying the ready, but when I study other openings, usually I do it on ChessMind. I recently made a video of me reaching 2,300 ELO with the ChessMind French defense course made by Grandmaster Maurizio Flores, and it only took me 30 days to master. The courses are relatively easy to complete, and they aim to teach you the overall plans of the opening as opposed to memorizing hundreds of lines. And on top of this, they also have these new personalized daily lessons which are uniquely tailored to you based on factors like your play on chess.com or Lichess. There are so many more cool features on the platform that I'll let you guys explore for yourself, and for any traditional chess learners, they also have a variety of ebooks accessible as well. I'll put the pricing on screen right now because it's honestly such good value for money. You guys can also use my code JACKSARK for an extra 20% off your subscription.
If he plays something like bishop e7, I just take it, and he's slightly worse. So d-takes on c4 is the principal choice. Bishop e7 is the Tarash, which is, I mean, not horrible, of course, but there you go. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, he's taken. And you don't really want to take with the queen, I wouldn't imagine. Although there's probably not so many great discoveries, is there? Maybe it's fine. Maybe queen takes is actually okay. Oh, queen takes, there's knight c3, so maybe we don't want to play it. Knight takes e4 is annoying. I guess we'll just go back. I'm playing unprincipled, but let's just see how Artuas breaks my principles, or breaks my broken principles, and play knight takes d5.
Knight takes on d5, keeping the position symmetrical is kind of dubious, because I'm going to take it, play a3, queen c2, e4, have some space advantage. I think I have these lines in my course, and after e takes on d5, well, we have an IQP on the board. And by the way, many players, they don't like the IQPs, that's like the pawn structures. So I have a feeling the jack is going to take with the knight. It's just a general observation, yeah. So it's pretty standard. For some reason, many players do not like to play with an isolated pawn. I think I was supposed to take.
That's not what I expected at all. Now I could take, but I feel like he's got a trick up his sleeve or something. Or does he? I don't think there's any tricks to be up any sleeves. Actually, now that I think about it, just takes. I was thinking that I don't have to because I've got great control over this c4 square. Like, I could also castle. I feel like castling is not a crazy move. Maybe castles e4, knight back, problematic. I just also like this, but I feel like the bishop gets on an awkward square. Like, c5 is not exactly where I want the bishop. Maybe I want it on f3 or f6. Okay, let's stop trying to break principles. Let's just take the bishop, castle. I feel like my position is playable. This is a great threat. Sometimes playing a5 in these kind of positions gets you in a little bit of hot water. I don't know if that's the right saying, but we're going to play a5, weaken the light squares a little bit because the bishop is over here.
I don't think after bishop c5 I play e4 immediately because he plays knight b4, knight e3, occupies this square. So maybe it's playable, but I think it was a3. The only thing I do not remember after bishop c5 was it queen c2 or not. Somehow I remember that queen c2 was a move, just to push back the bishop a bit. He's thinking. Okay, let me play a3. I think he's going to play a5, because I kind of am hinting that I want to play b4, but actually the big idea of a3 is to take away the b4 square so that I can prep to play e4. Yes, a5 is a pretty decent move, and probably I have to play e4 or queen c2. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe queen c2.
This is a good move, but again, I probably didn't want my bishop on this square anyway. I kind of wanted it over here, so I'm happy to drop the bishop back, and then I can castle on a following move.
Let's play queen c2 first so that I avoid some queen trade. I'm not really hoping that I'm going to win the bishop. There you go. I think it was better for him to keep the bishop on this diagonal, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, let's do this.
Damn, this is all very, very precise. Okay, knight f6 now. He has blocked out his bishop, but knight f6, rook d1, queen here, bishop here. Doesn't look great. I think we have to play something like this, though. We don't really have a choice but to play knight f6, so let's go ahead and play it.
My idea is to play rook d1, bishop e3, or bishop f4, depending on where he goes, and Again, we have a symmetrical pawn structure on the board, but it doesn't really matter because you see his bishop here is pretty terrible. If we would remove these bishops off the board, then probably black is kind of fine, even though still slightly worse.
We do have an attack on this, but it's defended. Yeah, if we go queen here, he's gonna go here. We can't block with the bishop because the queen also sees it. I mean, this isn't terrible. Queen c7. What's wrong with queen c7? Queen c7, bishop here, e5. I don't mind it. e5 also allows me to put my bishop on e6. Ooh, wait, has he... No! I forgot that this was pinned.
Queen c7 is going to be bishop f4. Queen b6 is going to be bishop e3. So I'm gaining some tempi. And bishop d7 looks just ugly. It's very difficult to play. I think after bishop d7, I'm going to play knight c3 and threaten to play e5. And I don't know what he's planning to do. His position is getting really suspicious. And I think for this very reason, what is he supposed to do? Like, I don't wait, Jack, you're blundering here. Yeah, I can just take it. The question is, how do I take it? Do I play knight e5 or do I play bishop takes on e5? I think I can take with the knight. Let me check which is the most killing move. Knight e5, g5. I think knight e5 is just, yeah.
Maybe he won't see it. You know what's terrible? I know that he sees it, and I know that he's just explaining to you guys how bad I am. And how, yeah. Okay, can I go castles? No, I don't think so. I think we just have to play, like, a sad move. Queen b6, oh my god. Queen b6? Okay, let's play queen b6.
Okay, queen b6, and yeah, this game is almost over. Like, I can take it and play e5, but knight c4 just feels too good. Threatening to win the queen. Get the knight on d6, play e5. I give an extra pawn and the compensation for it. Yeah, this is not the best game by Jack, but I mean, it started with a bad opening. Like, he played a line that he didn't really know quite well. Yeah, now it's pretty bad. Okay, this is looking really good. Queen b8, knight b6. Okay, 7. I think I'm winning material by force. Can I play knight e6, takes? Let's just go for some material.
Okay, so he goes for this, which is super interesting. Because you can't go here, because takes, there is check. Oh no. But okay, but I can go here, right? I can go queen a6, and if he goes here, I can go b5. Yeah, let's go queen a6.
Queen a6, okay. Queen a6. Should I play bishop f1 first? Yeah, it just looks totally killing.
This doesn't feel right, because b5 is actually, like, a relatively strong move. Maybe it's not a maybe it is not a strong move, actually, because he's played it. Okay, I'm just going to assume that I'm wrong here. b5, why is this not a good move? b5, there's knight here. If here, there's here. If here, there's maybe here. I think I've got to go for b5 there. Like, otherwise my queen's just getting trapped, so let's go for b5.
But I mean, okay, this is still winning, because I thought that instead of bishop f1, if I would have played knight b6, knight g4, knight a8, knight e3, f takes on e3, queen a8, he has some compensation for the exchange and a pawn. Obviously not enough, but whatever. But now this is, of course, also winning b5. Is going to be knight e6, rook d6, e5, and that's it.
I am still holding this. Oh, he goes for this. Oh, how interesting. Oh, wow. Takes here. Bishop here, there's just... But I also have this. This doesn't feel so bad because I've got, like, this. Like, if I go here, and you go here, I go here. But then I guess there's just, like, probably, like, queen here, right? I think we've got to go bishop b7. Bishop b7, a4 is brutal. Alright, let's go bishop b7. It just has to be done.
Oh, I haven't really used any time, I have noticed, but I mean, the position basically plays itself.
Okay, now we maybe have room to maneuver. Or maybe he's just played the best move. That's also extremely possible. What if I go rook here, bishop here? No, that's terrible. That's really dumb. I could castle. It's not really gonna help. Oh my god, castles, just bishop takes. Oh wow, my queen is actually really struggling for room here. I've got to not get my queen trapped. Okay, so is like a4 the only move then? A4 bishop here, queen here. Takes, rook takes. I think we've got to play a4. I mean, he's probably, you know what the worst part about this is? He's probably not even going to play bishop takes b5. There's probably just a better move. Okay, let's play a4.
Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is this game is about to finish. The bad news is I ran out of my coffee. So I'm a coffee maniac. I need some proper coffee. Okay, I can just take it. How do I keep in crushing? Where's the mate? I could just take the piece, of course. But I look for the mate. Is there a mate? Can I? So, but there, just take the piece, probably. Just take it.
I like lose badly in these episodes as it is, let alone as a grandmaster. What a brilliant idea. Okay, so he's done it this way, which means I just lose the piece, and now I'm only down 5 points of material, which, considering how this game has actually gone, feels like a positive. We're gonna castle here because it's principled. You know, you should always get your king out of danger. So let's go ahead and do that. Bishop d4. Okay, he's trying to attack my knight, of course. I probably don't want to allow him off the hook so easily, but is the next move just going to be rook c5? If I go knight g4, he can probably just kick me away. And then I guess I have like knight h6, but I'm not super convinced on that. Like, then there's probably bishop here. But then maybe I have this. No, but then he's got this, and the bishop's there. Right, okay. Okay, what do we actually play here? How do we do anything in this position? I feel like we've probably got to go for this. Let's go knight g4.
Knight g4. Obviously, he has to try something. Okay, I think he wants to play queen h5. That's what he wants. I'm not really concerned about it, but fine. I'm gonna stop him. And then play queen e2. Maybe there's also rook g5 double attack on the knight and the pawn on g7. He hits my bishop. Rook d5, knight e5, everything is good. I think rook d5 is the most reasonable move.
I think I can go queen here. And I'm holding this square. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's a great move. I don't think I can go h5.
He's going to play knight f6. Some rook g5. Oh, I spotted the beautiful sacrifice. Just a second. I think I can carry it out. Knight f7, rook g5, h6, rook g7, king g7, queen g4. King goes somewhere, queen f5, king g7, knight e5, lights out. I think it's going to happen. So knight f6, rook g5, h6, sack the rook. I don't have to do this, but I want to.
Oh my god. Okay, so we can't take here. We can probably like hit him with, actually, yeah, can we just hit him with a little bit of this? A little bit of h6. What am I missing? He sacrificed the rook, but I don't actually see why this is. Oh, wait. Takes check. Yeah. Wait, but I have rook a6. Oh, but he's seen knight d5. The fact that he found that immediately is beyond me. Oh, that's like the speed in which he identified that that was even a tactic is not something I would even consider. Rook takes here. There's check because it's a pin, and if you go back, he checks here and picks up the knight. But if check here, check, and you go back, he goes here, and you can't defend with rook a6 because there's knight d5 coming. Oh my god. King takes, and now there's this check, and you can't sacrifice your king. So, I mean, this is like just a surefire way to lose, so let's go back immediately. I mean, there's probably even just queen here, but I mean, this is much easier. I cannot believe that he found that within milliseconds, man. Okay, let's go rook a6. There's no way out of this. Just there's nothing I can do. I'll let him checkmate me because we're already here. Actually, I don't know actually how I can even let him checkmate me. I might just resign. Okay, let's resign. That's a good game. Wow, I feel like that's even an instructive game, and it perfectly kind of displays the skill gap between us. We're going to jump into the analysis with our tours right now. So yeah, let's jump into that.
Okay, so the reason, Jack, why I really liked Reti, and this is my 6 chessable course, Reti Simplified, which was released in February of this year, is that I have noticed that many players, I don't really know if you're one of them, but many players, including the Tata players, they don't have anything solid against the Reti. Meaning they have a very good repertoire against the E4, they have something pretty solid against D4, and even up to a GM level, I have noticed, well, against the Reti, you know, I can play this, I can play that, sometimes I can play this system, sometimes I can play that system. And this is the reason why I think that Reti is very effective, because it also allows you to freely jump between some other systems. Like you can transpose to the English opening, you can transpose to some Catalan, to some D4 stuff, and it has the flexibility that E4 doesn't have. Yeah, so when you play Jack, it's okay. Yeah, like this is chapter number.
I would
Yeah.
usually, so after bishop g2 and c4, typically I would play takes. But I kind of struggle against these lines where you get this and like c4 I find is super difficult to play against, and I was like, okay, playing against a grandmaster, I'm not gonna play into a line that I already find difficult. But if I was to like spend a decent amount of studying, a decent amount of time studying the Reti, what line would you recommend that I go for to play against the Reti after this position?
Right. I mean, I wouldn't really recommend this line at all.
Oh, right.
Because it is a playable line, and basically you can make any line work if you go deep enough. And for example, right now we have engine switched on. At depth 42, it shows 0.3, but at depth 70 or so, it goes to zeros. Yeah, so there's nothing really for white. It's just slightly more preferable position. But if you go back to the starting position, I think that the good old classical setup with knight f6, bishop g2, e6, shot castle, bishop e7 is very tough to crack.
Right, yeah, and just playing it like a Queen's Gambit declined, kind of without the two central pawns.
Exactly, but you know why I really like it? Because now you can transpose to 3 systems. You can play the neo-Catalan with c4. You can play the classical Catalan with c4, d4, and I have avoided a couple of choices for black. And I can also switch to the King's Indian attack with d3, knight e2, and play e4.
Yeah.
So that's why I really like it. It's, for me, one of the absolute favorite openings. So you were a bit unfortunate that you you walked right into this. And this line that you played, it's okay line. Like it's not a bad line, but you have to know quite a bit here. And the line that you mentioned is c takes on d4, knight e4, e5 takes, c4. I really don't remember what was it. Did I recommend knight c3 here or short castle, because the lines are really similar? And black is okay. Like he's holding on. You're not having any privileges. Obviously, it might seem that you have a strong center. You're fighting for something. Actually, you're trying to survive here. But you could have also played like Gukesh. Lately, there's this new trend among professionals that after e6 shot castle, there's this line c takes on d4, knight e4, and knight g7. And this is also what Daniel Darda, the strongest Belgian grandmaster, played against me in German Bundesliga. This is getting really popular at the pro level. The idea is to play knight e4, knight c6. Engine says it's not a big deal, but Gukesh, he made it work some time ago, and this is like the latest trend. And if we're playing at the pro level and somebody plays e6, and I'm like, oh yeah, he wants to do some Gukesh stuff.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, I think the Queen's Gambit declined one is probably more up my alley, so maybe I'll study that one, but we'll go through the rest of the opening anyway. So knight f6, and then we have this kind of pawn cube in the center. Do you think I should have kind of broken the tension here, or was bishop e7 the right move?
Bishop e7 is fine, but then you're entering the what do you say, the Tarrasch positions. But after d takes on c4, I think this is the critical choice. I can play d takes on c5, which is again very popular at the highest level. Like this is the line, knight e2, c3 takes, whatever was the continuation here. Now b3, bishop b7, either c4 or knight e4. I really don't remember. White is having some pressure and black is trying to stay alive. But personally, myself, I really like this line, queen a4. And it's almost forcing, because after c takes knight e4, I'm better. This is the line that you should know. Takes, bishop d7, rook d1. This is what I was showing during my country.
Yeah.
And it leads to a forcing line where black is slightly worse. I already have played this several times. And I think the main continuation after d takes on c4, queen a4, here takes, there's the move b5, of course, but takes here, and it leads to pretty forcing endgame after here, bishop c6, rook d1, queen a5, takes, here, maybe I don't remember the move order, and it kind of feels like a draw, except it's quite not a draw, because white just activates the king, plays a 4, plays b4.
Was this all theory?
Yeah.
Or was this just kind of what
Yeah. Sure.
Really?
Yeah, this is theory.
Okay, right.
This is theory. And you know, I had recently a dispute about this position against my teammate, Bobby Chang, who is number one.
Oh, right.
Number
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
I'm not really sure. I
I
think
know
he's
Bobby
number
Chang,
one.
yeah.
Australian Grandmaster. And we were playing in French Team Championships just recently in France. And we argued about this position. I said, Bobby, listen, I think black here has some problems. And he said, no, I don't believe you. We played some sparring games. And you can ask Bobby himself how it ended.
Right.
So it's not so easy. It's not so easy. These positions, like according to an engine, it's totally draw. And after the games, Bobby said, yeah, I think there's some problems. Like from engine's perspective, it's obviously everything is a draw. But anyway, maybe all of this is so totally irrelevant. But the point is, I know this stuff, and after d takes on c4, basically black has a choice to go either for this position or after bishop d7, queen c4, play b5, queen c3, and suffer for quite some time. And obviously this is in my course, and that's why, I love these lines. But what you played, Jack, it's fine. Bishop b7 is fine.
Okay, cool. So yeah, again, in a normal game, when I see a Tarrasch structure, like from white or black side, when you get this pawn cube, usually I just snap off the center. I find that d takes or c takes d4 is rarely a terrible move in these kind of positions. In this one, maybe it's not the best, but usually I would do that. But I was thinking I'll play a little bit more passively with bishop e7, and then we get some trades in the center. What was my first big mistake in this game, do you think? Because right now it's all level, but it does go pretty downhill pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think that, Jack, you had made the wrong choice. You took with the knight, because this is a very common fear, not only among club level players, but also sometimes data players. They do not like to play with an IQP.
Yeah.
Meaning to play with an isolated pawn on d5, and I suspected that you are also one of the players who doesn't like to play with an IQP. But I think it's also the mindset. I think it's very important to switch the mindset from IQP, or the isolated pawn on d5 is a weakness, to it actually is the strong central pawn, and I have no issues with development. So people tend to overestimate the downsides of the IQP. And if you ask advice to an engine, it actually says it's not a big deal. But obviously, it would have been a completely different game. Yeah, so I would have taken on c5, I would have played knight c3, and I would have played against the IQP. But I think ultimately black is perfectly fine. So answering your question, where was the first big mistake? I wouldn't really say it was a big mistake, but taking with the knight, it's definitely inferior than taking with a pawn.
Right. And how would you play with this IQP? Like if you were the black side and let's say knight c3 is played, what would your continuing plan be for the black side?
Just play aggressive.
Right.
Just play aggressive and treat the pawn on d5 as something that can be sacrificed. I think this is also a very important mindset, that we're not clinging on the pawn on d5 so that it's the soul of this position. We treat it as something that we are ready to give up at some point, as long as we have piece activity. And I think that if you're playing from the black's perspective and you're able to get the very active pieces and you're fighting for the center, your opening should be a success. And the isolated pawn on d5 is essentially the price you're paying for this success. But of course, I was quite happy to play this. Let's say castles. There's this old move bishop g5. There's the very old move knight a4. I think I would have played this line. Rook c1, bishop c5, and you just play active chess, rook e8, bishop g4, etc. Don't worry about a pawn on d5.
Right. Okay.
Your position is healthy.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, of course that doesn't happen, and I take with my knights. Bishop takes a3. I feel like even a5 is not not a great move here. I would think usually when you see a3 on the board, a5 is a bad move, but in this case, plus 0.9, plus 0.8. What do you think about a5 in this position?
I already honestly don't remember was a5 a move because I'm pretty sure a3 is in my course. But I could not recall, did I recommend queen c2 e4 or was it a3 queen c2 e4? The big idea of a3 is not to play b4. The big idea is to play queen c2, play e4 and take away the b4 square for the knight so that you cannot anchor your knight on d3. The big idea is to play for the space advantage because if you remove a couple of minor pieces off the board, let's say the last bishop on c8, the knight on c6, you have a great position and there's nothing for you to worry about. But we include those couple of minor pieces on the board, you start to experience some space issues really here. So I think, yeah, a5 is probably a bit slow, and I have no idea what you should have done. Like, Engine says it's a short castle, but, you know, it's typically like this. It's very difficult to give a good advice in a not so great position.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And a5 kind of feels logical, but yeah, this is, I think, where your position starts to get really suspicious because I'm about to play e4, I'm about to play knight e2, knight c4, and you have so many weaknesses here.
Yeah, I thought that after bishop e7 and e4, I thought that this, I completely miscalculated this because I thought, okay, if rook d1, I go here, and if here I go here because I usually get bishop e6, you get these positions sometimes in the Austrian variation of the Queen's Gambit Decline because the d and c pawns are both gone in a lot of lines. So you'll get like a bishop f4, and then you'll kind of plug the hole with e5, and then you'll put your bad bishop on e6. So that was kind of my thought process. And then as soon as I played it, I realized it hangs the pawn. So it kind of, I feel like from here we can probably quickly skip through the rest of the game. But yeah,
but to be honest, like, Jack, your position already was very bad. Yeah, like here, I think it's borderline losing.
Yeah,
because I thought that you were going to play bishop d7, which is a very ugly move. I was about to play knight c3 just to develop the pieces, and after the short castle, I was thinking something like e5. And I just didn't know what you were going to do because knight g4, some bishop f4, h3. I have like a dream Catalan position, and you have lost a couple of tempi for queen c7, queen d8. Okay, Engine says knight e5 takes, rook d5 +1 for white, but it's still, oh, because of bishop f5. Okay,
yeah,
whatever. But black is down a pawn for no compensation. I thought that in a practical game, this is close to lost. And if you were to play queen b6, I would have played bishop b3 anyway. So, like, it's just a very bad position for you to start with. And on top of that, this is how it happens. You misplay the opening, you miss a move, the game's over.
Yeah. I have one more question. I mean, we can skip through most of this, but there was a moment that really interested me. How do you see a move like rook takes g7 so fast? I know the answer is because you're a grandmaster, you've been studying chess all your life, but if you were to able to give that piece of advice, how you can identify moves like this just as fast as you do, what would be your like number one piece of advice for players like me?
To be honest, I already saw it way ago. I think I already saw it about here. As soon as I played bishop d4, I thought that there's definitely some idea at the right moment to play rook c5, rook g5, and attack the pawn on g7. So, of course, I saw that you want to play queen h5, you want to seek some counterattack. I played this rook c5. Actually, here I was a bit angry with myself that I didn't include a more logical move, rook d1. So this rook d5, I just blitzed out. And already here, I expected that you were going to play h6 after rook g5, because your position is losing anyway. I want to play knight e5. I want to get on g7. Actually, I want to sacrifice on g7 anyway here. So h6, it doesn't really change anything. And speaking from the pragmatist's perspective, this is actually quite silly because I have an extra piece and I shouldn't be doing this, because normally the rule is when you have a completely winning position, and I do have a completely winning position because I have an extra piece, an extra pawn, you should never ever complicate things. But like, I just thought that this is so logical because all of my pieces are joining the attack, so it didn't even feel like a risk, and it's just like a cherry on the top
Yeah.
on this game. Yeah, so I just thought that all of this looks so natural, and I'm not even down material, and the knight on f6 is dropping anyway, so I just thought, why not go for this? But like on a serious note, it's just pattern recognition, I suppose. So I can't even recall from where do I know this, but rook takes on g7, the spin alive, I've definitely seen in dozens, if not hundreds of examples, and somehow it automatically comes to the mind.
Right. Would you say that's the main difference between our ratings is that kind of raw pattern recognition and just like the amount of games and experience that that you've had? Would you say that's the main difference, or do you think it's more apparent in other areas?
It's also it's also the pattern recognition. I don't think it's just one skill, really. So as we could see from this game, it's definitely much deeper opening prep. We tend to, I mean, when I'm speaking about grandmasters, we tend to get great privileges in the opening phase. This is why we study them, so that we get an advantage for the rising middle game. We're not out of the book by move 5 or 10. Typically, it goes much beyond that. And definitely, grandmasters calculate way faster. They're much better in tactical vision. And also, this is something I have noticed myself when I was playing against some other also decent players rated about 23, 2400. Positionally, the fight would be about more or less, let's say, equal. Maybe I would have some slight edge. And as soon I would switch on the tactical vision, there was a major difference. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is also, I feel, where grandmasters are way better than club level players. They're so much better in the tactics, seeing these patterns much faster, calculating much faster. Very often, the club level players, they collapse very quickly here as soon as a fierce, sharp battle starts. But maybe it really depends on the player. But yeah, I would say it's a combination
Yeah.
of all of these factors.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming on the channel. It was a pleasure to have you on. I'll leave all of
My pleasure.
Artua's links in the description below. Artua's, do you want to sign us off for today's video?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jack. I've watched a couple of your videos. I think you're doing really great stuff. I love your editing. What you're doing, like compared to me, I'm still an amateur. I'm also running my own channel, but it's like, you're doing this like at the pro level or semi-pro. What's your level? Actually, I'm not
I'm
entirely sure.
1800 FIDE right now, but I hope to be.
No. The YouTube channel. The YouTube channel.
Oh, I don't know if I kind of just do it. It's like I would say semi-pro. It's like kind of for fun, but I also like to take it seriously too.
Right. Yeah, you're very much invested. I can tell, and I'm also like, you probably can relate to this. There are days when I'm so into YouTube, yeah, I'm having a fixed schedule. I'm making videos like 4 times a week, same hours and everything. And then at some point, after 2 months of slavery, I'm like, what I'm doing? So no, I can't do this anymore. Let me take a break. I've been burying and resurrecting my YouTube channel for like 5 times already, but it's fun. I'm also enjoying this. I wouldn't even say that I'm at the semi-pro level, but I enjoy also myself making some interesting content for the audience and give something to the community, and I'm very glad that they enjoy it.
Perfect. Well, if you guys want to go and support Artua's channel, all the links will be in the description. You guys need to make sure he doesn't have another retirement anytime soon. I want you guys to show your support. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on the channel, Artuas. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Jack.